we will work out or we will learn another 3 or 4 definitions in today's session. So the agenda is very simple. Along with definitions, we'll understand the concept also. First one will be called as deemed export. What do you mean by deemed export? Letter of understanding, we call it as LUT. A warm welcome to one and all. This is your Adarsh sir here, lecturing Vidyashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. So we are in the session 4 of your topic called under indirect tax. We are discussing about definitions. Almost we have completed more than 9 definitions so far. Now we will work out or we will learn another 3 or 4 definitions in today's session. So the agenda is very simple. Along with definitions, we'll understand the concept also. The topic will be concept as well as definition. First one will be called as deemed export. What do you mean by deemed export? I'll give you a simple example so that with an example you can understand better. Just assume that you are in Karnataka. So you have a customer in Germany. You have a customer where? In Germany. In between, in Rajasthan also, you have a dealer. Total 3, Karnataka, Rajasthan as well as Germany. Now, what happens here? You need not to sell directly to Germany. If you sell to Rajasthan, that person, that dealer will sell it to Germany. So normally what happens, I am the main dealer, he is a sub dealer and he is a customer. Now instead of selling goods from here to Germany, you are sending to whom? You are sending to this Rajasthan dealer. Now for what purpose you are sending? The reason is this dealer will transfer these goods to Germany. Normally export means what? From Karnataka to Germany, we call it as export. If India to some other country, if you transfer or if you send any goods, we call it as export. But what is it called as deemed export? See, you know the reason why you are sending to Rajasthan. What is the reason? This fellow will transfer to Germany. Finally, the goods will reach where? Germany. Even though from your side you are not sending, even though from your side you are sending goods within India itself, finally the goods will reach where? Germany. This we call it as deemed export. Clear? If you send it directly, it is export. If you are sending by this, it will be called as deemed export. Now deemed export refers to supply of goods manufactured in India, within India. Now, and not services. Remember, we are talking about only goods. Any services given, we will not consider for deemed export. Hope you are clear. So, deemed export is only for goods and deemed export is not for services. That is a major point you are supposed to remember. Now, which are notified as deemed export under section 147 of the GST, CGST and SGST Act. Now, however, the refund of tax paid on the supply regarded as deemed export is admissible to either the supplier or the recipient. Both can claim as input tax credit. Remember, these are called as deemed export. Very important. Sometimes this question may come for 10 mark. Now, so we have not completed with this topic. Still we have what are the things we call it as deemed export, which are the points or factors has to be covered, has to be fulfilled in case of deemed export. Like the definition part, essential condition to qualify as a deemed export. If you want to call this as a deemed export, these are the points they're supposed to qualify. Which are those? Like applicable only for supply of goods, not applicable to services. First point is what? This deemed export will not applicable for services. This deemed export only applicable for goods. First point. Second, goods are not required to be taken outside. As I told you, from Karnataka to Rajasthan within India. So, deemed export need not to be outside. It is within India also. We call it as deemed export. Such supply of goods must be notified by the central government. This is very important. It must be notified by central government. Next, goods must be manufactured or produced in India. If you want to export means if you are taken from other country, we call it as import. So it must be what? Manufactured in India. Next, goods must be manufactured in India. Next, payment can be received. It can be in foreign currency. It can be in Indian currency, Indian rupee. Anything is accepted. Next, such supply cannot be made under bond or LUT. So these are the things we are supposed to remember. Next one, the tax must be paid at the time of supply and refund of tax paid on such supplies can be claimed. See, the tax must be paid at the time of supply. You are supposed to pay tax. Okay. Next, refund of tax paid on such supply can be claimed. Any refund made, that also you can claim. So these are the things you are supposed to remember. Now, so what is LUT? Letter of understanding. I forgot to explain you this. Letter of understanding, we call it as LUT in the GST. Letter of understanding. Now, so these are the points you are supposed to remember. If it is a deemed export, it means what? First point, it is not for services. It is for goods. One point is over. What is the second one? So the goods can be within India. That also we can call it as deemed. What is the third one? It must be manufactured in India. What is the fourth one? The payment received can be in Indian currency or it can be in foreign currency. What is the fifth one? Such supplies cannot be made under the bond or LUT. These are the factors you are supposed to remember while talking about your deemed export. Now, still we have deemed export word. Which are the deemed export? The goods supply do not leave India. First one. If we left India means what? It is export, not deemed export. If the goods left India, then leaves India, then it will be called as export. If it is within India, we call it as deemed export. Hope you are clear? Yes. Payment for such supply is received in India. It can be in rupees and it can be in foreign currency. Then such goods are manufactured in India. These are the major three things you are supposed to remember. Clear? This is all about your deemed export. Now, the 11th definition, we are talking about drawback. Drawback means what? Limitations? No. We are not talking about the limitations of GST. We are talking only the concept or definition called drawback. What is a drawback actually? See, in relation to any goods manufactured in India and the rebate of duty, tax or cess chargeable on my imported imports or any domestic input or input services used in the manufacture of such goods. Now, the next paragraph, the definition of drawback is relevant when the definition of drawback will come when return of input tax credit is claimed. Whenever you return the input tax credit claim, then only your drawback concept will come. The law provides that a refund of unutilized input tax credit will not be allowed if the supplier has availed drawback. Like, so few input tax credit. What is input tax credit? Input tax credit in the sense whatever tax you have paid on purchases. If it is not utilized, if it is refunded in case of drawback, you cannot utilize it. If any input tax credit refunded, you cannot utilize it again. You have received the cash, how can you take it as your input tax credit? That is called your drawback concept. It is not much important actually, but if you get, it will be 5 marks. You have to mug up these 2 points. The next will be our 12th one, exempt supply. It is also one of the most important. We have zero rated, we have exempted supply, we have taxable supply also. Now, what do you mean by exempt or exempted supplies? Like, exempt supplies comprise the following 3 types of supplies. We have how many types? Following 3 types of supplies. Which are those? Like, supplies taxable at nil rate, like 0%. Nil rate or 0%, we can call it as exempted. Next, supplies that are wholly or partially exempted from CGST. Sometimes what happens, up to some extent, up to 500 it is exempt, above 500 it is taxable. Then normally it happens in the footwear. In case of footwear, up to 500 some percentage, above 500 worth of footwears are comes under higher rate of percentage. Then, by the way of notification, amending section 11 of CGST Act as well as IGST Act. Hope you are clear? Yes. Then, non-taxable supplies are defined under section supplies. Non-taxable, if it is not taxable, then it comes under exempted supplies. Then, tax need not be paid on these supplies. Input tax credit attributable to exempt supplies will not be available for you. If your selling is exempted, how can you claim your tax paid on purchases? You cannot claim the tax paid on purchases. Always remember, your input tax credit can be adjusted against output tax credit. Input means what? Purchases. Output means what? Sales. This can be adjusted. Just I'll give you one example. You purchased mobile for 10,000. You paid 18% tax, 1,800. Clear? This is called input tax credit. Now, the same mobile you sold for 15,000. 10,000 mobile you sold for what value? 15,000. Again 18%, how much it is? 2,700. So this is called output tax credit, input tax credit. Now, as per this 2,700, as per this 1,800, you're supposed to pay only 900 as tax. Hope you are clear. How much you are supposed to pay tax? 27 minus 1,800, 900 you are supposed to pay tax. Hope you are clear. Now, in case if the sale is exempted, assume that your sale is 15,000, there is no tax only, tax is 0. If it is 0, you cannot claim this 1,800. Your input tax credit cannot be availed. Input tax credit cannot be taken if it is not taxable, if it is exempted. Hope you are clear? Good. Now, we have done with all this. Now, zero rated supply such as export would not be treated as supply taxable at a nil rate of tax. Hope you are clear? Yes. To grant exemption from GST conditions. If you want exemption from GST, these are the conditions you are supposed to fulfill. Which are those conditions? Like, exemption should be in public interest, first point. By the way of notification, there must be one notification for that. Must be recommended by GST Council. So you have definition GST Council also. Later we will learn. Absolute exemption or conditional exemption may be for any goods or services of specified description. Next, Exemption by the way of special order. Next point. A registered person supplying the goods and services is not entitled to collect tax higher than the effective rate. These are the conditions you are supposed to fulfill if you want exemption. So it will be your 5-mark question. Remember any points like what is exempted supply, 2 to 3 point. Then condition to claim exempted supply, any 5 point. That is sufficient for the definition of exempted supply. So these are the things we don't have GST itself. Which are those? GST rate has not yet been announced. Which are those? Petroleum, no GST. High-speed diesel, no GST. Motor spirit, commonly known as petrol, no GST. Natural gas and aviation tribunal, turbine fuel. And these are the things. Still now, we don't have GST for these points. Hope you are clear. Yes. Now I'll go back to all these slides so that you can take screenshot. So this is your agenda and your definition, your deemed export. And this is the second part. The last part of your deemed export. Your drawback, small concept, not much important. Exempt supply, first part. Exempt supply, the condition to grant exemption from GST. So these are the things. Till now there is no GST for this. So this is all about your today's session. I am not taking much time for definition topic. Why? Because definition topic you have to mug up each and everything. As I told you, there are 24 definitions are there. We will not go for all 24. We will go for around 18 definitions. All 18 definitions are very important as well as it is required for your examination purpose. Without fail, please prepare all. Every session I am doing only 3 definitions. Hardly you will get 6 sessions. All 6 sessions if you watch, you will get all 18 definitions. Thank you.